right, you're welcome back to the Shakira Show. Like I told you before, I was going to have an array of guests in the show and in the studio for you. I'm still your host, Adeyemi Oluwatosin Adeboye, aka Wordplay, and this is live from Lagos, Nigeria. You're on the Shakira Show, up close and personal with the next guest. The next guest is a music minister, a mom, and a nurse. She has been, talking about and singing gospel music for such a long time. And she's someone who inspires the younger generation to pursue their dreams and still have the anointing to minister to the people of God. Before I go any further, I'll go on a quick break. And when I get back, we will be getting into this with our special guest.
The Shekinah Show.
Welcome back. And this is still the Shekinah Show, up close and personal with drum roll, Murayo Jesu. Yes, I said it, Murayo Jesu, aka Olawoyin Murayo Oluwa. So definitely, I'll let her, introduce herself. But before I do that, I'd like to still remind you, our subscribers out there, to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button below the screen. This is the Shekinah Show, and we're up close and personal with Murayo Jesu. A lot of times, Nigerians and people at large actually have a lot of things to say about mental health disorders and mental health issues and everything. But before I go into all of that, I'd like for Murayo Jesu to introduce herself and let the viewers out there know about herself. Murayo Jesu, everyone.
Hello, everyone. This is me, Murayo Olawoyin, popularly known as Murayo Jesu. I'm a mother. I'm a registered nurse by profession, an entrepreneur, and a gospel music minister.
All right, so there you have it. She's an entrepreneur, a mom, a nurse, and she also manages this handsome young man seated right here. So, very quickly, I'll be going into the very questions that brought us here. Mental health is a big issue in the world at large today. Today, we have a lot of people who have, anxiety, who have depression. And sometimes, and most times, many of these people do not know that they're suffering from these things and do not seek attention or help. So now we want to get into it. And I'd like to ask, we already know we have some common mental health disorders such as this anxiety and depression. How do you think they impact people and their everyday life?
Oh, thank you. First of all, before we talk about how mental health impacts people's daily life, we'd like to talk about what mental health is itself. When we're talking about mental health, we're talking about a state of being mentally healthy. It's a state of mental wellness that helps you to be productive, helps you to be positive about yourself, and to be good. And in a general language, when we're talking about mental health, we are talking about a healthy mind in an healthy body. So when the mind is not healthy, the body is not healthy. And that can go ahead to affect an individual daily life. And that is why mental health should be something we talk about in our society. It's actually having a lot of effect and impact on us. So we need to talk about it. Mental health is when one is mentally healthy. Mental illness is when there's a deviation from the normal. That means when an individual cannot adjust and cope, cannot maintain a continuity of life, then that person is mentally ill. And this can affect an individual daily life in different aspects.
All right. So when we talk about different aspects, I'd like to see from a perspective of culturally how it can affect them, down to their family members and, their relationship with their family, how it can affect them. So in what ways do you feel like any of these things, the anxiety and the depression can actually affect people?
Okay. Like I said earlier, the mental health affects our daily life. It affects our relationship, affects our families in diverse ways. When an individual is depressed, for instance, when one is depressed, there's loss of interest in activities, in life, in things that is of interest to that individual. So there's a withdrawal. That person is not ready to relate with the family. The families are wondering, it's affecting the relationship. The relationship is not as good as it used to be before. It affects the work. in an office area, that individual is not able to perform, it's not able to work, it's not able to cope. The joy, the excitement to work is not there, the motivation to work is not there, and thereby the productivity of such an individual is reduced or is even taken away. So we thought it affects everyone, it affects the home, there's loss of interest and the family. An individual might not want to relate with any member of the family, might not want to relate with the husband, and most of us in our society are not understanding the fact that that person needs care mentally. We just think, okay, what's wrong? But mental illness is a big deal, and it's actually affecting a whole lot of us, especially the youth in these days right now. So being mentally unhealthy affects a lot of things, affects the individual, the family, the society at large.
All right. So taking it a step further, now that we know that mental health can affect people and the family relations and how they relate with society and all of that, would it be possible to list a host of symptoms? Because I know that things like we call PTSD, we've got people we've got aside the post-traumatic stress disorder, we've got people who are now suffering from disorders and depression even after they've had babies. It came to my knowledge, some time ago, that people actually suffer from things like this after giving birth. They begin to withdraw from people. So can you give us signs and symptoms of people, of someone suffering from any of these things and what to look out for, so people don't just withdraw and suddenly realize that they're depressed?
Yeah. So mental illness diverse.
Yeah.
And the signs and symptoms also diverse.
Yeah.
When an individual is suffering from depression, it's going to be different from somebody that is being manic. When somebody is manic, means that the person is excessively elated. And that's why personality disorder, it's one of mental health issues that needs to be addressed. The kind of personality you have can determine or can affect you and determine the kind of mental state an individual can be. Okay, so we have for people with depression, you see there is withdrawal from activities, loss of appetite, insomnia. That means that person is not sleeping, the person does not want to see anyone, and on, and can go ahead as being suicidal, thinking I've got nothing to live for, everything is gone, and such an individual wants to take his or her life. Wow. While somebody on the other side that it's being excessively elated, we call it a manic phase, where such an individual is grandiose. That means feeling he has everything in the world when he has nothing. Thinking my father owns the whole world. My father is Adeboye. My father owns Nigeria. They go ahead with this perception, and it goes on to affect them. And we have different aspects, like for a woman who just delivered, we call that puerperium psychosis, where an individual just goes to bed and does not want to see the child, lost interest in the child, and starts behaving in an abnormal way. All this can be as a result of stress. It could be as a result of personality disorder. Some are hereditary. Some can be as a result of genetic disorders and others. So all these contribute to our mental health.
All right. So in a place on a state like Nigeria that we're in, we already understand that Nigerians are very queer people. When we see or hear things about mental health, the next thing anybody's thinking is about a place called Arrow. I hope you don't visit there anytime soon. We also hear about people talk about he must have gone mad for this person to use certain type of drugs. So how do we then try to break this stigma around mental health and encourage more people to seek help?
Stigma, it's a big deal and a big challenge for us in our society. People are stigmatized a lot. That means stigmas are just a belief, like a tag that is attached to mental health. And in the society that we are, people think when you go to a therapist or when you go to a psychologist, that means you are mentally sick. You have psychiatric disorder. No, it's not that. seeking a mental health therapy, it's a good thing. And I want to tell people out there that we don't condemn people. The fact that I am down, I might want to see a therapist, I might want to speak to a psychologist to help me out. It's actually a good thing. But stigma is one of the big deal in our society right now. People stigmatize you, and this causes fear, and people don't want to open up anymore because they don't want to be stigmatized. But I want to encourage people out there, please do not keep quiet. Please speak up. And also, we can deal with this stigma issue, by normalizing treatment. Mental health treatment should be normalized like every other treatment, like malaria treatment. I am sick, I have malaria, I want to seek treatment, I want to get my medication to be okay. So if I'm down mentally, I also need a therapist to talk to. I need somebody to help me that can help me out of what I'm going through. So seeking mental health therapy, it's something that is good. So I will encourage everyone out there, please let's show support to our loved ones. When you see anyone that is going through one challenge or the other, let's support them, let's show love. Let's not call them by what they are going through. And let's not call them, it's in this part of the world that people see going to a psychiatrist as an issue. Going to a psychiatrist is a normal thing as going to see a pediatric, or is as same as going to see a gynecologist for a solution. So I can walk into a psychiatrist home. In psychiatric hospital, there are different departments there. There are people where we have your psychologist, your therapist that helps you, talk to you, wants to know what you're going through, and see what modalities or what method can help you come out of it. So please, let's discourage stigmatization. Let's show support and encourage people.
All right, this is still the Shakina Show, and if you know you're suffering from any of the above listed symptoms or any of the above listed disorders, please do not fail to contact us. We'll be willing to listen to you. The numbers will be displayed right now below the screen. Do not fail to contact us, as we will not stigmatize you, and we're only seeking to help. When we get back from this quick commercial break, we'll be going deeper into her music, her lifestyle, and more and more and more on mental health disorders and how you can be helped. Stay tuned.
The Shekinah Show.
All right, welcome back to the Shekinah Show. That you may know him. And still in the studio with me is Mariah Jesu, talking about mental health. And right about now, we'll be crossing over to her music. Mariah Jesu is, one Nigerian music global superstar who has taken music, gospel music, to the ends and the far reaches of the world. A single, Ron Olure, has actually touched a lot of lives and is still touching lives today. And right about now, we'll be crossing over to her music to ask her, what has inspired your music career, what has, how far she's gone. And I know you still have questions, and, you will also want to ask her. But let's quickly dive into this, Mariah Jesu. Let's talk about this, on a personal level, one-on-one together. I would like the viewers out there, your fans will actually want to know, what inspired you to pursue this, this career in the music ministry, and how did your journey as an artist actually start?
Okay. To God be the glory, great things He has done. Okay, as a child of God, He has helped us. And the Bible has made us to understand that we can do all things through Christ that strengthens us. Okay, I've been a member of a choir in the Redeemed Christian Church of God since I was 13. So that has actually helped me a lot. I have, gone through teachings from different music directors, and it has actually helped me a lot. So at a point, the Spirit of God ministered to me that He has given me the gift, not for myself, but to use and to propagate the kingdom. And the inspiration of Ron Olure came through the leading of the Holy Spirit. And when at a time of challenge, and the Holy Spirit reminded me that He's our surest help in times of need, and He can help us at every time of life. And that inspiration came, and I wrote the song, and God helped me to pull it through, and I was able to release the single Ron Olure See Me, which is still trending on Audiomack today.
All right. So if you're looking to be uplifted by your music, you can go out there and check Audiomack for the song Ron Olure. It will minister to you, It's a song by our very own Mariah Jesu. And, very quickly, aside, releasing music and, going to the music industry, we also want to find out, as a mom, how has it been for you trying to balance, being a mom, balancing your career? Because, I've seen you do all these things with so much passion. What drives you? How do you balance all of this?
Well, I would say my strength is from God. I can't say I can do all by
from
myself.
God, and, a man like me by side.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Okay, so we draw our strength from the Word.
Yeah.
We draw our strength from God. Yeah. As we are nothing without Him. God has been so good to me. He has strengthened me. Yeah. And His word that I can do all things through Christ that strengthened me has been my watchword. He has been the one strengthening me. That times it's challenging though. My kids needs me. Yeah. I have to be at the studio recording, or I have to go out ministry somewhere. I have to be at my office as a registered nurse, attending to my wonderful clients. All this put together, it's not been easy, but God has been faithful, and I don't find it stressful. It's been easy for me to, put everything together, and, I've been enjoying doing it. God has been faithful.
All right. So very quickly, we'll be going back to wrap up on, the mental health aspect of things. And, I want to ask some, very, very practical questions. People would say people can self-medicate. But when it comes to mental health, we can't self-medicate. But there are self-practices we can put in place. Can you discuss some of these, self-care practices that we can put in place for our mental health?
Okay. When we're talking about mental health, you cannot self-medicate, because mental health has to do with the mind, the thought, and feeling. There's something we call cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT.
Cognitive
behavior, cognitive behavioral
I
therapy.
thought that was computer-based test, but now I know better.
Yeah. So we're talking about cognitive behavioral therapy. It's talking about how to change your perception, because when we're talking about cognitive, cognition is talking about thoughts, the mind, and behavioral, it's talking about how you relate. So when you put this together, so mostly in mental health issues, a psychotherapy is best in some cases. And before a CBT can be used for an individual, there are certain things that needs to be put in place, like assessment. An individual needs to be assessed. Like, you want to know what's the cause of the mental issue, what are the signs. So people might have mental health issues, and not portray the same signs and symptoms. Wow. So might want to know what is the cause, and for us to know where to come in. So this psychotherapy goes a long way. It's like a talking therapy. It wants to help you change your thoughts, how you perceive things. Like an individual who sees his or herself like, I've got nothing to live for, I am finished, I am a nobody. You want to talk that person into believing, yes, you are so important, you are this, you are that. So that psychotherapy, talking therapy, goes a long way in helping people with mental issues. That's why you can't self-medicate, unlike every other illnesses out there. So if you are having challenges, you are going through one rough part mentally, I will encourage you to seek a therapy. Seeking a therapy is not a death sentence. It's not the end of the world. It means you want to be better, and you will get there.
Right now, finally, I'd like you to give one bit of final advice to anyone out there struggling with any form of mental health disorders. One final word out there to any of these people. Yes.
Please speak out when you have challenges. Please seek for support. Do not keep whatever you're going through to yourself, and have it at the back of your mind that whatever you're going through, there is going to be an end. It's going to pass. Do not let what you are going through determine who you are. And most importantly, as a child of God, as a Christian, seek your refuge in God. Seek help from the Lord. and it will see you through. When you have mental health challenges, please do not keep quiet. Don't be scared of stigmatization. Speak up, seek help, and you will find it. Thank you.
All right. So I've been live right here, live and direct, Lagos, Nigeria, with Morayo Jesu, aka Olawoyin Morayo. She has been here talking to us about mental health, a music career, and working as a nurse. Definitely, it is one episode you all like to see. And I'll be waiting for your comments in the comment section. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification option on this show.
The Shekinah Show.